Hey everybody, it's Liz at Northern Bell Farms. So this is my third video. You will not know about the other two, but I did a garden walk and edited and made it all up and then went to upload it and it said unable to upload, and then last night I was going to work and I found this package in the mail and I got home and the lights were off and I was still awake after work at like 10:30, and I was like, I'm gonna make a video on it. I haven't made a video in a while. So I went back out to the car and turned the lights on, and it was nothing but failure from that point on. The phone kept falling down. I had to hold the packets like under the dome light so you could see it, and then I had held the camera the other way, so then when I adjusted it so that you could see everything, you couldn't see anything because the way I was holding the camera. So it was just a train wreck, so that video was out. So I'm going to redo the seeds, and then hopefully it won't be too long and we can do a garden walk. It's been really hot and humid, or if it's not 95 degrees with 112 real feel, it's raining and pouring and like you drowned in the air when you step outside. So I am going to hopefully do a walkthrough at the end of this because I don't have many seeds. This year I'm going to try and order little bits at a time because, you know, as of years before, I would hold on to stuff in a cart and then I'd be like, oh, it's too much. I don't have $250, $300 for seeds. And then I would end up missing out on seeds. I'm already missing out on lots of seeds. Some things that I wanted were already sold out, and I was like, so just make your order. And we'll make another order in a few weeks. Hopefully, when they restock, I click the notify me button, and hopefully we'll make another order in a few weeks, and I'll just share with you then. So it'll be more attainable that way. So, as I said, I got Baker's Creek in the mail. And I'm just going to go through. I'm most excited for fall. In summer, it's too hot to grow. So we have eggplant, peppers, and okra, and that's about it. That's all that's growing right now. Most of our tomatoes are dead. I do have one spot where the tomatoes are still okay. They're not thriving, but I ripped out a bunch of dried up vines with brown leaves and took those out to prep for probably for next year, because we don't use the spot where the tomatoes grow for much else. It's usually rotated between tomatoes and peppers, but the peppers really do best out front here. So I'll show the seeds. What are you most excited about growing for fall? Or can you not grow for fall and have to wait till spring? If that is the case too, tell me what is your favorite, I guess, cool weather crop to have in your garden. What's something you always have to have? And also, if you found something this summer that didn't do very well, what's something you're not going to try again next year? I should have organized these since I knew I was going to go through them a second time, but I didn't. So I got more zinnias. We're going to try and do a second round of zinnias for fall. And I always, every year, have some more come up, and they're always pink. There's so many pink zinnias that I just need other colors. So I got these red ones, and I think I got a different red one, but I got these red ones, so they're called Will Rogers. Purple Lady Bok Choy. This is one of my favorites because the bright green stem and the dark purple foliage is really pretty growing, and they're pretty easy, pretty quick, and they taste delicious. This is another one that I really like to have in our bag of kale mix. I have a few here for our bags of kale mix, but this is a really pretty purple one, so it looks really good against all the greens and purplish red colors. Don't kill me in pronouncing things because I guess I'm illiterate, so it's really hard to pronounce things. Takai's Choice Mix. These are really pretty, like those cactus zinnias. They all look like spiky. And yes, there's pink in there. I got two of these Russian Red or Ragged Jacks. They're the purpley blue colored leaves with the purple stems. Nasturtiums. I have from spring. I ordered a bunch. I was smart this year and only planted a few, or the ones that were older, because they don't really last very long in spring. So I'm hoping to plant here in the next couple weeks all of our flowers to get going, and then we're going to plant vegetables after that. And hopefully they'll have time before frost. Most of the vegetables will be able to take a frost, but those are orchid cream nasturtiums. These I got for next year. We have a couple growing from seeds I saved, but the seeds I saved aren't as good, of course, as these, or there was an issue. But those are bitter melons. They are really good for you. I hide them in my family stuff. Well, we figured out is that they hate eating them because they're so bitter. But they're like a miracle, I guess, fruit, but like a vegetable. So they fight cancer, they boost your immune system, they fight viruses. It's really good for you, and we cut it up and we put it in the dehydrator and turn it into a powder with the coffee grinder, and then I put it in things, and that's how I can get my family to eat it without them complaining about every bite they take. Because, I mean, we do saute it up in soy sauce, and it's okay that way, but it's still really bitter. These, I'm going to plant a few for fall, but I really want to have them in my bouquets next year. This is called Spotted Bee Balm. I got a couple of these, so I'm only going to plant, 6 or 8 of these seeds this year to see if I can get any before fall. And then I have a red Ursula kale, another really pretty one for the bag. And I'm pretty sure I have a couple regulars in my seed thing. Here's that other Spotted Bee Balm. Isn't that really pretty? This kale, there was a purple kind too last year, and I'm unsure where I got it. Probably Johnny Seed Selects. Don't raid my secrets. But it looks kind of like it's already been eaten by pests, but it's really pretty, the texture when you put it in there, especially with some like flat regular leaves or against some purple. But we had this one, which is from Baker's Creek, and then one that looks just like it but purple. It's the Envy Zinnia. They're the Limelight mixtures, and I really like them. We always have less germination of these, but I like the orange and the reds. And these ones are just the greens. We had one this year, but I planted it where I usually plant it, and all the perennials. Elderberry. Elderberry bushes have got like 10, 12, 15 feet tall, and that isn't a viable spot for zinnias anymore. So, these Envy zinnias, we're going to plant some of those. Another purple lady bok choy. Oh yes, the orange lime is so pretty. A regular bee balm mix is to feed the bees. We can also use it in bouquets. Maybe with our pink zinnias. One year I'm going to miss them. I do this about everything. I did this about amaranth 2 years back, and I was like, oh, it's everywhere. I'm so sick of it. And then we've let the seeds come back. And last year I was like, it's okay, let a few go. And this year I'm like, why didn't I grow that? I should have grown the green and the orange and all the pretty colors of amaranth. White zinnias, they're called Polar Bear. They can go in any bouquet, so good to have. There's another Ragged Jack kale for the kale mix bed. Jervisky. It's a pepper, new pepper in the Baker's Creek. They're supposed to be amazingly fragrant Macedonian roasting peppers, stocky 2-foot plants covered in 6 to 7 inch red pods, is what it says. Blue curled Scotch kale. There's another frilly kale. Jagallo. The free seed is called Old Tokyo. It is known as a spinach mustard and can be cooked or raw and has a mild spinach flavor. That is the new free seed that we got. Another bee balm mix. Okay, these are pink, but they're white around the edge, so they look like a frosted pink. zinnia. Something different. And our Jabarski pepper. Of course, my new cart that I've already made on Baker's Creek is filled with peppers. Because this year we tried to do jumpstart peppers in the greenhouse, and a lot of them struggled because we tried to get them going in the cold. So, peppers weren't that great this year. Some of them aren't even coming in out back where I usually plant peppers because of the new growth of the trees around has made it even more shaded. So peppers are only going out front next year. So hopefully I can see with the sun. But let's walk through the garden real quick. Here's the front garden. This is the only garden still half alive. I have some passion flower growing right here on the edge. I need Chris to get a board and attach it to that post, put that lattice up so that passion flower has something to grow on, along with the jungle walkway. The trellis we had taken down in earlier videos. We had the passion flower come back, which is now wrapping around the new roses that I planted, which are going to have to be moved because this passion flower takes up everything. But I have more lattice here that I got from one of my regular customers. She had said that she had her back deck done and they had extra scrap and she was just going to throw it away, and I was like, no, I'll use it. Most of my customers know they can check with me about stuff they're planning on throwing out because I could probably use it. Like any old farmer, I have a bunch of junk and people will give me their junk. So, this is the okra corner. It's doing great. We have, we planted green, but you know, I plant less of the regular stuff and more of the cool stuff that's not really out. So, we have red. We did plant orange also, but I haven't seen any orange yet. So we have no orange, no green, but I have red. We have a new hot pink one that was in the Baker's Creek seed catalog last year. And then we have my favorite, of course. I like those little short squatty pods. They're called Hillbilly something, Star of David, Alabama something or other. But they are these pods, and they don't get very big, and they're better enjoyed shorter. That one right there is perfect. What? This one. This one needs to be cut. So these need to be harvested every day or every other day. Here's a red one. And then let me see if I can find you a good hot pink one. Should have looked before I came over here. Here's a hot pink. It looks a lot like the red, but it is super pink. Isn't that cool? So we've been working on weeding. Not that you could really tell, but we pulled out a bunch of stuff in the front there. I have to till it up and get it ready. We're going to put flowers there. We're going to lean more towards flowers. Next year because they're what's been doing the best here. I've been able to sell a bunch of bouquets and people really enjoy them. And, you know, with bags of chicken feed and 100, and I counted the other day because I thought I might be overfeeding. Turns out I'm underfeeding, but we also supplement with the garden weeds, kitchen scraps. We have kitchen scraps, and then people bring kitchen scraps when they come to buy chicken eggs. So with all that, we're about where we need to be. But I found out that we're supposed to be feeding them a bag a day. So and a bag lasts me like 2 days. If I stretch it, it's more like a day and a half. Like there's enough for half the next day. So at $15 a bag for 1 day of feed, I don't really want to do the math to know what that turns out to, but we sell a couple dozen a week, and a dozen are $4. So maybe I make $12 a week for $15 a day. So we have salvia, purple and blue. The red didn't really come up. Look how pretty this is. This is the blue hibiscus that I got last year. I've been putting it in bouquets. Everything's starting to slow down, like it's struggling more to keep the plant alive in the heat. We have roses come in every now and then. I did fertilize, but then as usual, I let the weeds take over, and it is nuts. Because this is about a week and a half's worth of work. We cleared all the weeds. I can't even really find, well, I guess it kind of looked like these beds. Yes, there's raised beds under there. You wouldn't be able to tell because the weeds are so huge. But we cleared all the weeds and dug out the mums, so hopefully they come back for fall, even though they were busted out in the spring. I have to clean out that bed, which we started, but, you know, fire ants. And then we cleaned halfway back to there. We have to finish the back side and the other side where we just were weeding. And then I'm going to focus on more flowers here. I have a bulb order, hopefully, coming in a few weeks. And more sunflowers, so of course that's where the sunflowers go. And then I'm going to put the bulbs in right here. And then I'm going to leave a walkway, and then I'm going to put bulbs in right here. I think I want to do dahlias on this side and lilies on this side, and then any mixes on the ends of those beds. This is what all my tomatoes out back had looked like. Just because it's too hot and they just can't make it this time of year. With all the water, it makes splitting. So they fill up with the water really fast. And then they taste watered down. This is Brad's Atomic Grape, I think. Here's our eggplant. I'm most excited about this eggplant. This is a Turkish eggplant. These are supposed to be orange. I think that'd be cool. Never seen them. These are frog egg eggplants. We had more, but they're some of them died because they take a really long time to get going, longer than the regular eggplants. But once they do go, they have a lot. But there's empty spots where some struggled and didn't make it. Oh, I couldn't even eat that. And then we have regular eggplants. Well, we always grow a smaller variety. That is, let's put some mulch under that, make sure it doesn't rot. That is skinnier because we don't like the sliminess. So this one we can cut up into like little medallion pieces and fry it up to not the point of gross slime. And still enjoy the taste and caramelization on the outside without the slime. The only thing out here that's still going is the cherry tomatoes for tomatoes. All the rest have died. Corn, as you've watched my videos, I'm never doing corn again. Not here. It just isn't working out. I've had many different issues with corn, and I can never make it work. So maybe Tennessee will let me have corn. These are the most struggling peppers we had put over here, so those are still struggling. These are jalapenos, and every day I pick from these plants twice a week. There are lots and lots of peppers on these. These are, there's some Jimmy Nardellos. See, and even the peppers are getting rot spots because it's been raining a lot. These are something. They're really hot and spicy. They start CHA something. They're specialty peppers. I only ended up with like 2 habanada plants, which is crazy because they're my favorite. But next year, there's maybe a dozen kinds of peppers that I'm growing, and I'm not going to grow the other ones. These are sweet bonnets. They do have a little heat, but they're okay. Not my favorite. Not going to grow them again. These are the random like bell peppers. There's some red there. There's some yellow. Some purple. I like all the colors from over here in our pepper mix baskets. Couple green. This is where some more potatoes were. Never gonna find it in this jungle of a mess. We're going to weed this. I'm pretty sure that this vine is from the Kiwana melons we had 2 years ago. Kiwana melons are nuts. Okay, they grow like a cucumber. They're bright yellow. They're very spiky. They're lime green on the inside when you cut it open, but still looks like a cucumber. And it tastes like banana. Yeah, sounds crazy. So it's not something people look for, know what it is, or really even ever want again after they try it. But it is something that people go, what the heck is that? I want to try it. So we enjoy sharing that with people. Stuff that they never heard of, never seen, and just might want to try once. I usually fed a bunch of chickens after a while. You know, you can only eat so many weird banana tasting cucumbers. More zinnias. The bees are doing great. I gotta make a new bee video. I haven't been in the boxes as much as I probably should. I go and I check for beetles. Still haven't been able to spot the queen. Really unsure how. I mean, you can watch all the videos in the world. I have. And I'm still unsure as to what I'm doing. I thought I found one once, and I sent her to my neighbor who actually has a bunch of bees and has been like my mentor, and he was like, no, that's a drone. So, maybe if you got it from a company where they have the queen labeled with like that red dot or green dot or whatever color dot they put on for that year, then you'd know, you'd be like, hey, that's the queen and that's what I'm looking for. But I've never been to a class or seen anything where I'm like, oh yeah, I know what I'm looking for. So, watermelon. That's from the seed video. Right there. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plants, which is probably enough because once I say the word people too, they're like, ew, what? Loofah gourds, which I do not have enough of. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 plants. I have these random, I'm really hoping they are garden candy, ground cherries. We planted them out here again 2 years ago and have had randoms pop up ever since. But next year I'm actually going to grow more on purpose. So the plan was to have these 2 other fences. I was going to have 2 fences with bitter melon and 2 fences with loofah gourd. But our germination rate on my own saved seeds was pretty low. Because, you know, I leave them in the greenhouse. They're actually stored outside in one of those photo bins in the back shed. And the humidity, so all the moisture in the air, I'm sure leaves my seeds really unviable. And I need a better storage solution. I guess I could bring the boxes inside. But even still, finding space for them and their own space that doesn't get disturbed or touched by anything else is a little bit harder. So, but we had weeded that section, and then I also, me and my apprentice Fawn, we planted Asian wing beans on this side. I think I may have some out back. I can show you what they look like if there's any fruiting right now. Purple basil and lime basil, and then we have our elderberry bushes, which are starting to turn. We have it at all stages. We have the green berries. We have bees on the flowers, which you can make into a tincture or tea. And then we have some up here even starting to ripen. Off-season growing of our garlic has made it be really small. And it was supposed to be purple, and you know, always experimenting with what you can and can't do. We'll stick to the fall garlic growing, but I don't know if I'm going to do it this fall because we do have a bunch right now. Even though they're littler, we'll still save them. But this is the other part of the week's work. We're trying to get the flower garden back. As anyone who's watched this channel for a while knows, last year this has got so bad that, you know, I lost everything. And again, I was losing things in the weeds and couldn't find them, so we weeded and we're bringing in mulch. And look at that, it's even coming back. It was getting harder for stuff to flower, so I brought in mulch and there's another rose back. But I have some roses here. I have my herbs here. Lemon balm, rosemary. I need to put some thyme back in, even though it's still there. It's not doing so hot. Oregano. Echinacea. You can dig up the roots and use them in tea, is actually a part that people use. This is Clipdaga from last year. If anybody watched any of those videos, I didn't plant any this year. I didn't have any seeds. I'm glad that these came up. Definitely going to try and save some seeds again. It has orange flowers. The flowers look kind of like a lion's mane. The leaves, the flower leaves can be dried and used in tea and used for anxiety. Lots of people relate it to marijuana, even though it's really not, even in the same family. But it has like calming effects and makes you feel less anxious. So we really like that. And we've been harvesting some of the passion flower. It's the same. Passion flower is dried and used for tea and helps you feel more calm. These orange cannas, they never do great. I only end up with a couple, but I love the leaves. It's like a stripe of yellow on the leaves. Some mint, and then this is what, see, this is the weeded part. We figured we'd start in the back and work our way to the front, and then the front. Everyone who's seen the video, the baby bunnies are in here. So we're leaving that circle right now. Ouch, see? Fudge monkeys. Ants. That is the most unenjoyable part of farming in the South. The amount of fire ants that I step in, put my hands into. There are days when I just have to stop after having my hands in fire ant nests multiple times. I just can't anymore. The stings and the bites, and now my feet are going to be swelled up because I've definitely felt a whole bunch of bites. I actually have, this is from last week. It's almost gone now. You could see it better in my other video, but all those spots are, I had stuck my hand in an ant nest when I was pulling weeds, and they crawled all the way up my arm. And I got a bunch of ant bites. So, we will do a bee video soon, hopefully. I'll check to see if there's anything we can take out. Maybe I can get a comb to harvest and enjoy for my family. Otherwise, that's the front gardens and the seeds, and I will probably see you guys on the next one, either in a bee video or a unboxing or package opening of seeds and or bulbs for spring, or for fall planting for spring harvest. Don't conform, people. Be transformed. See you in the next one.